Hello, Leo. Great to have you here. My name is Shona. Today's reading is a general love forecast for November 2025. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like, and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Leo. In store for you. So the first thing out is the Lover's card in the reverse position. I'm going to put this here. Okay, I have the Page of Wands, the Judgment card, the Four of Swords, the Nine of Wands, the Devil in the reverse, the Two of Wands, the Two of Cups, very good card, Ten of Wands, okay, I'm going to take the first card from that cluster, and the Queen of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to say there is definitely a relationship here, okay? This is a romantic relationship that you have been working at for quite some time, and I feel that it has been problematic. So you're working not only to sustain it, but you're trying to fix it, and you're continuously going back to it and thinking to yourself, you know, if there is a problem, there has to be a solution. If I can identify the problem, then I can definitely, you know, arrive at a solution where we can fix this together. So that's where we're preoccupied, and that's where, you know, you were dumping all of your stamina, all of your time, all of your efforts. That's where it was going, and you're starting to realize this month that if it's that complicated, it's not meant to be, okay? So I do feel that the universe is urging you, or has been pushing you to the patterns in the relationship, and I feel as if it seems to me that we have the Judgment in the reverse, which indicates stagnation, because judgment is usually a new beginning. And in this context, it's indicating to me that you're not able to see the light. You're not able to see a new way or another way of fixing it. And on top of that, you're not able to find the solution, mainly because you are so wrapped up and mired in it, and you're so fixated on a very specific outcome, and you were fighting just to get that outcome. So it wasn't granted to you. So when we are so focused, tunnel vision, and we refuse to accept that there is an alternative way of living, of doing, and we keep trying to push for a certain outcome in a situation, especially in this relationship, we get ourselves really stuck, and all the other aspects in our lives start to suffer. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to realize. Relinquish control when it comes to your interpersonal relationships, okay? Take a break, take a step away from it, and in the process of stepping back, you are going to get the answers that you're seeking. Just don't push for it. You're pushing so hard, and I feel that for a lot of you, it can be a very conflictual relationship where egos are clashing, or you're not seeing eye to eye with another person. The communication hasn't been going that well. And on top of that, we do have Mercury in retrograde. So you're pushing for a specific outcome. And you end up hurting one another, like words are thrown about. And as a result of it, nothing good can come out of it, okay? So take a step back, take a break. And just know that sometimes it's okay. It's okay to go off somewhere and until that solution comes to you, then you can come back and resolve things, okay? And I do feel there is going to be a resolution here. There is going to be a resolution. If this is a relationship where you feel that, you're not seeing eye to eye, there is definitely a very, very good solution, or at least some type of clarity coming in the last week where you're going to be able to find a way forward, okay? For those of you who are battling with a situation where you know for a fact that it is not, so for example, you can be separated from somebody, and this can be, a legal separation, or it can just be a relationship where it's on and off, very sporadic, very unstable. It was codependent in the past, and it was also just very one-sided. And you keep jumping in, and you don't know how to break the bonds and break those cords of attachment, and you don't really know how to do that. I'm going to say that in the process of you coming in and out of this very toxic relationship, in the process of you allowing this one very toxic relationship or person to come in and out of your life, you're missing and you're turning your back on some new potential that is trying to come through for you, okay? So the energy for this month is, for all Leos, I feel a huge, wide majority of you, turn your attention to the future. So stop looking backwards and stop devoting your time, your energy in the wrong direction. Stop funneling your energy, your time, your resources, your mental health, just don't channel it in the wrong direction, okay? So that's the thing here. And when we are so fixated on getting a specific outcome, we are basically, this is, pretty much turning your back from something that is very beautiful, okay? This is a situation where you are seeing eye to eye with another person, where the other person is in it for keeps, and the other person is giving you the emotional support and everything that you pretty much want from a partnership. So I do feel for a lot of you too, this is, both of these cards are twos, which indicate relationships, okay, and partnerships. This is a relationship that is very physically exciting because the wand's energy represents stamina and love and physical attraction. This is a relationship that represents emotional fulfillment and, that very strong emotional bond, soulmate connection as well. And for a lot of you, you want this, but you're continuously attracting this. And there's nothing wrong with this, except it's not very stable. So if this is something that you want, you really have to identify, what does it mean to have a very strong emotional connection with someone? What characteristics in my partners am I looking for? So you want this, but you're always finding yourself attracting and going after these types of relationships. So that's something to keep in mind, because in the process of being so preoccupied with all of these exciting, physically gratifying relationships, you're turning your back on this and you're missing out on a great opportunity. So that's the main message that I'm getting here. So this is, overcoming bonds of, this is the addiction card. And it can be, addictions, physical addictions like smoking, drinking, and things like that, or just feeling very bound and stuck to certain situations, especially codependent and very toxic relationships, okay? Where the other person is like in and out of your life, or there has been, infidelity, but rather than getting a clean break, you feel very, very trapped, okay? So that's another thing I want to emphasize here. All of your attention is going this way towards the past when the future looks very, very favorable for you. So instead of, you're putting in a lot of energy and a lot of the work, but it's heading, unfortunately, I feel like it's heading in the wrong direction. So I do feel that one of the major lessons coming through here is re-examining your major significant relationships, especially in love, and scrapping them if they're not working, because there's just no other way I can mince words here. We do have two negative major arcana cards, which is the Lovers and the Devil. And you're continuously looking towards the past for some type of reassurance, closure, validation. And I feel that you're not going to get the reassurance, validation, and closure that you're hoping for. So you keep wanting to get a specific outcome, and you're being blocked from blessings as a result of it, okay? Focusing your energy in a more positive direction, that's going to be much more beneficial for you. I do feel as well, when it comes to work and finances and things like that, this is a very, very busy month for you. And honestly, your efforts are going to be more favorable if you were to direct them. The outcome is going to be more favorable if you direct your energy and your efforts towards things that are a little bit more tangible. Okay, so this is taking care of responsibilities. This is cleaning up your home. This is, possibly moving a home environment, moving from one place to the next with all of your belongings. So it is a very labor-intensive process. It's very tedious. It's also very physically taxing. But this is where you should devote your energy. This is the practical card, okay? Taking care of things in a timely manner so that they don't pile up and overwhelm us, okay? So that's where you're supposed to be heading. And I feel that for a lot of you, you're living with someone and things are not working out and you're moving on. And just when you've made up your mind, okay, I'm going to move on, the person comes in and they try to force you to stay. Or they not force you, like not physically force you, but they might say, some really pretty words in order to get you to stay. And you've already made up your mind, but they start to change your mind. And you're kind of halfway out the door when, in fact, when you start to waver in your resolve. And there's nothing wrong with rethinking situations and reconsidering. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like this is something that is happening over and over and over again. And you're repeating the same patterns over and over again. And you feel on an intuitive level that is not going to work. Okay? And a lot of you might physically be out of it, but you're still definitely very emotionally invested in it. And you're still thinking about it. So it's a little bit of a sad energy. And I'm picking it up so strongly. And I'm feeling as if life is giving you something else. But you're not... I guess I can say that, we don't have the Three of Swords here, which would indicate disappointment and a lot of heartache, okay? So I feel that for a lot of you, this is something that might have happened in. It seems as if half of your soul, half of your heart, it's still very, very tied up with the other person. They might not be there with you physically. But I do feel that you feel as if you can't move forward. And usually the Three of Swords indicates some type of, heart chakra clearing and healing. I don't get that card here. So a part of me feels as if it's not going to work out. You've come to terms with it. For the other parts of you, you've come to terms with it. But there is this intense wave of nostalgia about the past and wanting things to work, wanting to re-engage, and as a result, feeling very stuck where you can't allow new opportunities and new people to come in. There is going to be, for those of you who are single or who are, going through this or have recently gone through this, and you're thinking to yourself, well, what else is out there for me? Well, there is another person that is going to be very favorable for you. And I do feel for a lot of you, it is going to be an air sign, okay? So Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And this is somebody who is very, very independent. This is somebody who could very well be your polar opposite. But I do feel that the relationship itself, there's a lot of like having the same life experiences, having a very similar history to one another, where you both can automatically empathize with another person. Now, your polar opposite is Aquarius. So I do feel that whoever this person is, a lot of you might be dealing with an Aquarius, I'm sensing, an air sign, or specifically an Aquarius. And because of it, I feel like, it's you're when you're a polar opposite to another person or another sign, they encompass the traits that you're missing. So there is very, very strong magnetic pull between you and the other person. And the attraction can be very great, but it can also be very jarring. So it can play out in both ways, but I do feel that there is a new person, though, coming through for you, an air sign, and it's the beginning. It's like the promise of a very stable, emotionally fulfilling, and emotionally nurturing relationship where both parties are putting in equal amounts of work in order to move the relationship ahead, okay? So it seems to me that this is something trying to break through for you, but you're not going to be emotionally ready, or it can't come in until you are emotionally ready. And I feel that it is there and it's been peeking its head in multiple times, but your attention is diverted elsewhere, and you're fixated. I feel like you're very fixated on a very specific outcome, and you want a certain situation in your life to be a certain way, and you only want it to be that specific way. And the universe is basically forcing you to it's forcing you to re-examine, to take a step back, to turn your attention elsewhere. Not only are you going to get the outcome that you want if you start to detach a little bit and not control for the outcome, but you have another opportunity coming through in another person or in another just situation overall. So this can even play out in a work front, on a project front, where you're so fixated on something, and the universe wants to tell you that no, actually there's a better way to do this. So just relax, just chill out a little bit and take a different approach is what I'm sensing here. So I do feel that the message is very much relationship oriented for this month. I also feel that severing bonds, ties, situations, and especially if you have a penchant for addiction, such as to alcohol, especially to alcohol, just any types of an addiction, and you're trying to create a new path for yourself, and you're trying to wean yourself away from it. I do feel this is a little bit of a challenging month because you're going to be craving it, and you're also going to be I feel like it's more of a physical dependence, okay? So this can deal with smoking, drinking, physical addictions rather than an emotional addiction. I hope that makes sense. It's more of a physical addiction. So some people are addicted to food, and they use food to fill in that emotional void. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I feel that if that's the case, then it's an emotional addiction. If you're kind of tied in with a relationship that is very toxic, and you are kind of pretty much addicted to the emotional highs and lows, that seems to me like an emotional addiction. And I feel like it's not an emotional addiction here because I don't get that from this spread. I feel that you might want that really physically exciting relationship where you have great chemistry with one another and it's physically gratifying. Or you might have like physical dependencies on substances, for example, drugs, alcohol, and things like that. That to me seems like a physical dependency. So that's what it is, and I feel that because of it, your body craves it, and if anything, it might be more difficult to break than an emotional addiction. So that's just the message I was trying to get out, and I hope that makes sense to you. Um, I'm just going to say overall, Mercury in retrograde is a time period in which exes tend to come back into our lives. And one of the advice here is that for a lot of you who might have like scrapped away really unhealthy relationships and exes, and you're kind of moving on, even though it's hard, you've made great strides for the past 3 months in moving on. I feel that the exes are coming back in and the cards are advising you to be on guard. I feel that with this card, you're going to be on guard anyways and you're not going to re-engage. But I do feel that a part of you wonders, I wonder if they're okay. I wonder how they're doing. I wonder how many kids they have now and things like that. And it's really important to, to know that it's okay to entertain these thoughts. Thinking about somebody doesn't always mean that it's a good idea to get back together with them. So that's just something to keep in mind. That sense of nostalgia, that sense of craving. I'm sensing like a very strong urge. And it's really interesting because you're a fire sign. And every time I think, I'm an Aquarius, so every time I think about, a Leo, I feel that Leos are people that really live with their bodies. So that means, living their life to the fullest. They are very authentic. They're true to themselves. They mean what they say and they do what they say they're going to do. So it's a very like your heart, your body, your mind are all in, I guess, in the same place. Okay, so whatever you do, you put your whole soul, your whole being into it. So I'm getting this overwhelming